in between working different steps on different projects, I go look at other people's videos, and I notice they talk really nice, and they dress really nice, and they have really good lighting, but they really don't say much. In other words, they'll tell you that this model is like a BC, let's see what the other one over here, BC 454, and then there's a BC 455, and then there's other numbers, SRN things, and ARC5 numbers, but you get done, you're like, boy, that guy really knows his stuff. But he doesn't tell you anything. You know, you get one of these home, and the first thing you go to turn your knob, and I'm going to tell you, I've told you at least 10 times before, the first knob you build on this thing is a piece of tubing. This is ice maker tubing for a refrigerator. Okay? It fits on there, nice and snug, on the spline shaft inside. Now you can turn this. That's your first knob. Then when you get fancy, you put a 1/4 inch shaft into here, and then mount yourself a nice knob. Okay? It's still the ice maker. It's a 1/4 inch shaft in a knob on an ice maker tubing. This one needs to be replaced. I've been using it so much now it doesn't want to grip. All right, but anyway, ice maker tubing. Then you can make yourself a knob. But anyway, I'm watching these other guys' videos, and they hold it up, and the guy's well dressed, and he talks in a very gentle voice. And this is the BC4. It doesn't really do anything. All right. So this is the front end of the radio. Obviously, here's the dial. Here's how you make yourself a knob, a knob for it. A lot of guys on the conferences, just stick a piece of 1/4 inch tubing in there with some epoxy on it and let it set overnight. Well, the problem with that is then you can't get this apart, because then anyway, use ice maker tubing, okay? I can't understand why this didn't work. Yeah, it's too worn out. I put it in and out so many times on the radio. All right, so you need to take the front end apart. You go to turn your dial and it don't move. All right, so you know that the mechanism in here is the grease has dried up and got gummy, thing is seized up. Okay, now in order to get this dial off, you need a socket, a 5/8 socket. And I know you're going to say, I just used a pair of pliers. 5/8 socket. Gently, you make sure the socket's set to undo. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. So in other words, you hold the dial with your thumb, and you very gently put this on here, and you feel it to make sure. Okay, and you loosen it up. Okay. Now, mine is probably finger tight now. Okay. I put all mine back finger tight. Now, before I take this dial off, I'm going to tell you the most important thing. There's a little tiny pin on the dial, epoxied, or it's on the hub. So when you take this dial off, you got to gently rock it. Okay, now mine's looser because it's been apart, but you got to gently rock it, and you got to feel that pin. Like right now, that pin's hanging up, and that pin is your calibration pin. Now, the pin is in here. It's in the hub. Okay? It's in the hub. There's a hole. See the hole in this? Can you see that? Wait. Let me do a dynamic demonstration here. Does it lighten up? Yeah. See this hole right here? Okay? That lines up with that little pin that's on the hub. Okay? So, be gentle when you take this nut off. This nut off. It's aluminum. It feels like it's plastic, but it's aluminum. Rock the dial off. Okay? Now, pay very close attention. There's 4 screws, or 4 bolts. 1, 2, wait, let me do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, one under the tuning knob. Okay, now let's show you. I'll show you what's in there. All right, here's your little spline. Here's the spline. Spline gear. Let's get different angles on it. Now, when you put the shrink tubing or the ice maker tubing in through the front of the radio, that's what it press fits on. Okay, there you go. Now you can turn that dial. All right, here's the nut, which I should be hand tight. Yeah, okay. Here's the nut on this. Wiggle it off. Be gentle. Okay, on this one, it stayed on the hub. Sometimes it stays on the. It's been epoxied on the dial. Okay, now that's what's inside. Now you take these 4 bolts off. Here they are. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Now, in order to take this mechanism out, notice this. This goes to the antenna connector, which is here. Okay, this sits in the back. This is what's going to be seized up. And this ball bearing back in here, you got to grease that, oil it anywhere, and then the opposite end. Then the most important one is this guy on top, this helix. Wait, make sure I get this in the frame. This helix here. Okay, and then in the ends. Okay, now you could take this out and WD-40 it. When you spray WD-40, it'll loosen up all the old grease. Do not take these gears off. These gears are split gears, and they're preset with springs in them. Okay, that gets rid of the backlash. You take this apart, you're gonna have problems. Okay, and there's another split gear here. Okay, most of the time, if you're very gentle, do not deox it. I said WD-40. That's with this out of the radio. All right, and what I did most of the time is I put some very thin sewing machine oil in the most important places and let it sit overnight, and then it freed up. I didn't use WD-40, but this is what comes out of the radio. Now, in the back, I'm not taking this apart any further, but in the back, along the bottom, you'll see connectors from these wires. I just cut these wires off close to the connector because there are schematics how to wire this back in. And the reason I do that is those terminals are very gentle, are very flimsy. Let's use the word flimsy. But that's what the tuning capacitor looks like. And if you have more than one radio, you're going to think they're all the same. Now, this one here, if you look at the plates, okay, and you kind of count the plates, the next one I show you, you'll say it's the same thing. But I'll point out to what the difference is. Okay, looks identical, don't it? Look at how much closer together these plates are than these. Okay, this is a 6 to 9 megahertz radio, and this is the AM broadcast radio. Remember, I bought 3 radios to build one, and this is from the AM broadcast band radio, and this is from a 6 to 9 megahertz, and they're very similar. And be very gentle with these things, but these do seize up. Now, the guy with the nice suit on and the gentle, soothing voice doesn't tell you any of this. Okay, that's the problem when I watch YouTube. I get really aggravated that nobody warns you about anything. Okay, it's all so simple. He might know, or he might not have ran into any problem, or he might have been given the radio and it's in mint condition. I don't seem to have that vibe, that luck. Okay, now I want one more thing. When you put this control back in here, you need a distance. What is with this camera? Okay, you need an even distance all around the hub from the case, and you adjust these 4 bolts. You know, you put them in tight, or they're snug, and then you move this and loosen them up and get that. So this hub, when it turns, it doesn't bind on the case. Okay, that'll drive you nuts. And also, if you can't get it, that means your case is probably bent. But in other words, I think you could see the hub turning. Okay, only for you guys I took this off. Okay, and then that's your calibration. If they didn't have that little pin on that thing, you would lose your. Now let me see if I can get it back on. It's in the hole. Let's put the nut back on. I only put the nuts back on hand tight. Okay, one more snug. Okay, and like I hear, we're back to where we were with the ice maker tubing. This is slipped or something, or it's just worn out. You know, I've taken this knob on and off so many times. This is the knob. Yeah, it's not going in far enough. I moved this between the different radios and it's wearing out. But ice maker tubing, piece of ice maker tubing. Don't listen to the guys on the conferences. You just hammer a piece of 1/4 inch tubing onto it. Well, once it's on, how do you get that out if it seizes up on you? What if you break something? Okay, where just get yourself some ice maker tubing. You know, I don't know. I do everything different than everybody else. Let's face it. You know, and I have enough parts now where I can actually show you. You know, they have one unit in pristine shape. Talk with a very gentle voice. Let me wear a sweater outfit with a tie. You are getting sleepy, very sleepy. All right, that's it.